thing about the moon and the June and the spring. Sitting here chilling, baby, looking at this Dow. We're looking at the Dow, we're looking at the Nasdaq. We come over here, we're looking at the S&P. Yeah, just letting them trickle in here. Trickling into me. That barely moved, and that dropped that much. I got SMC already too. Palantir just holding. It's not over. Da-dee-da-dee-da. Hey, we got two people. Welcome. Welcome. Yes, sir. Oh, that is brilliant, sir. Yep, trickling in. I don't know, it's funny. Made the channel and people were like, oh, you make the video shorter, it'll be better. So I made some short videos. Then people were like, oh, you gotta make shorts. So I said, all right, I make some shorts. I don't know. Numbers weren't too impressive. Right? But people always told me, they said, nah, you gotta go live. People love live. Well, here we are, Tuesday afternoon live. Slowly trickling in. Okay. Make sure to like the stream, give it a thumbs up, like the stream. Thank you. Big Nick, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, Nick. I'm just hanging out. When you know what you know, and you're this damn good, you just take it day by day. Now fighting to stay above this moving average. I don't know. I think everything goes lower, though. I think everything goes lower. We spoke about this yesterday. We had the drop on Friday, big bounce back on Monday, of course, basically right back to where we were. But if markets wanted to sell off and pull back, then, that's what they're going to do. 1.5 hours till SMC. Oh, yeah, SMCI. Yeah, definitely going to be very interesting. Let's recheck these numbers. Yeah, obviously it's dropping with everything else right now, but okay, almost 6 billion, 44 cents. And what they report the last couple of quarters? 4.6 on 5. Isn't it amazing? Right? I may have mentioned this in the past too, but just think about this for a minute. Isn't it amazing? Think about how much money is tied to a stock like Nvidia. Okay? Think about how many freaking eyes are on everything Nvidia does, announces, has in the pipeline, contracts signed, agreements renewed, extended, right? How much money is coming in, how many units are sold, how many records are being broken. Think about all of this, okay? Now, think about several quarters ago when someone like me would bring up how completely out of the ballpark these estimates were on Nvidia earnings. And somehow they were such incredible lowballs, and the company was able to come out at 10%, right? 16% above revenue estimates, and boom, oh, it was massive. So if you have that many eyes and that much analytics tied to one stock, how can your predictions be completely off? Yet we come to a company like SMCI, 565, they post 568, right? And then you bump them up quarter over quarter. Now, for this quarter, you're expecting over 5, but they post 4.6. They missed by 8. How come something like that never happened with Nvidia? I don't know about you. That's the way my mind works. Look, they bump them up to 6 1/3. They post 595, but they just slightly miss the mark. Look, 532, they post 531, right? Incredibly accurate, but they slightly miss the mark. Not Nvidia, though. Not Nvidia, though. Right? Look, 16, they post 18. 20, they post 22. Right? Look at this. 24.6, they post 26. Look at this. It keeps going. 28, they post 30. Look, 33, they post 35. Again, 1 1/3 billion above estimates. Look, again, almost a clean billion above estimates. How is everyone watching this stock, and this stock is literally moving all of our markets and our freaking entire economy, basically, but the estimates are so way off? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. See, that should have just blew everyone's mind. So either your mind is blown and you're speechless, or you're just not paying attention. Speechless, right? Am I wrong, though? Suze, am I wrong? Think about it. Think about that. Is that not peculiar? And we've seen it with a lot of other stocks too, right? I mean, companies expecting, like they estimate 1.14 billion in revenue, and the company like just ekes it out. They post 1.15 billion, they beat estimate. It's like, how can, for companies that aren't as magnified, right? They're not as watched under the microscope as Nvidia. So how can all these other companies, how can you be so damn accurate down to the frickin' the tenths, the hundredths, right? The thousandth fucking decimal place sometimes. But then we come back to Nvidia and it's, oh yeah, they beat by 10%. I don't know, we were off. Right? And then next quarter, up, they beat by 10% again. I don't know, we were up. What do you mean you don't know? That's what I talk about. That's what I mean when I talk about, so some things are real, some things are not. M-Bot on a run today. Of course, we know what the saying is. You can't keep a good man down. Look at M-Bot up 7.5%, 285. Look at this. Came right back down to the channel as expected and had a beautiful bounce right back to the next trend line. In my opinion, as expected. Again, I'm very confident of what is going to happen, but again, I have to, I think it's imperative that I relay to you that it's just my opinion, and again, I could end up being right 99% of the time over the years, but we know that nothing is guaranteed. Just selfishly watching the Dow because I bought a put. Oh, a little break. Yeah, NASDAQ. Back below. Move. Actually, it's kind of right at the moving average. S&P also. Yeah, we might just kind of hang out here. The Dow is below moving average, though, so the Dow might actually head back down a couple of 100 points. We'll see how it holds up. What's the game plan and thoughts on MBOT after FDA? Still a buy and hold. A lot of people online are playing it just for the approval. Yeah, well, again, you know, it's your call, really, right? It's your call. We have to see, hopefully, of course, if they get the approval, how much it'll pop, right? And then again, you know, everyone's financial situation is different, so it's hard for me to answer that question for each of you. So again, you know, if a lot of people are buying on the rumor and they're going to sell on the news, right? We know that. We know that for a fact. So you could probably assume, I'd say maybe like half that volume is going to be buy on rumor, sell on news. So if they do get the announcement and they sell and re-enter. Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, if they do get the announcement, it might go from 3 to 9, you know, and then a bunch of people are going to be like, I'm locking that in, you know, and then the stock may slowly pull back to like 5 or 4, right? And then like Nick said, if you want, you could re-enter. Or, I mean, you know, there's multiple ways to do it. Or you can just sell off your initial investment so that you're playing with the house money, right? And you're still involved with the stock. And if it goes down, it's not a big deal because you already, you know, got your investment out. Some people may not even be looking at it. You know, some people may have sizable positions. And on the news of the FDA, they may see more coming, you know, over the next 6, 12, 24 months. So even if the stock goes from 3 to 10, you know, some people might not sell a single share and say, okay, give it some time, it's going to 20. So unfortunately, everyone's situation is different. But remember, that's a good problem to have, right? Holding MPOT till 20, okay. I mean, technically, I just put it out in the universe, right? So it might happen. Bash my leg into the table. In a few minutes, I may step away. I think I'm going to need more coffee here for the power hour. Power hour. All right, we got about 15 viewers. We have 6 likes on the stream. That is not supposed to happen. Like the stream, thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. See what's going on in the Discord. People talking about uranium stocks again. We saw LEU was a big winner for us. LEU stock went from 40 to I don't know, 240. But in general, again, even if you took a position in something like UUUU or UEC, I think it was that we spoke about, if you didn't see any big runs yet, we do know that the Trump administration is pro-nuclear, right? And we're seeing again the data centers and the AI rise and the demand and how much power it's actually going to need, right? And how much energy we're going to need to literally have these AIs everywhere. So that's why, again, everyone in the Trump administration is pretty pro-nuclear. He always kept saying, right, drill, baby, drill, right? So he wants to drill. He wants to get the oil up, which, of course, is going to bring oil prices down over time. We spoke about this in the Trump video a couple months back. But, yeah, I think it's nuclear. I think that's going to be the way. Because again, I personally think certain energy like solar and wind, I mean, it is good, but also at the same time, it is situational kind of, right? So I don't know, it's kind of like a gray area for energy supply, right? Like it could work, but it also could not work. And, people were pumped about the wind turbines, right? And then they found out that like it's messing with the ecosystem, right? And like the birds are flying into them or whatever. So that's what I mean. Like that, it seems like we have all these options, but none of them are real clear winners. And that's why I think, in my opinion, I think it's going to be nuclear, and of course we're going to have to stick with our oil. I loved your HGRAF call. Hopefully a pullback. Need to buy with my original investment. I let profits ride. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad it worked out. Glad it worked out for you. Of course, donations/commissions are always accepted. Good morning/afternoon, my fellow humans. Always nice to have another fellow human in the chat. Welcome, Joe. Are you looking at any U.S. uranium OTCs? Seeing HGRAF would be part of it. And then 250 at close. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. That's first class, brother. Between you and me, that's first class, and you know that. So I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me. It really does. Uranium OTCs. I mean, I don't know. We can look around, but see, again, HGRAF, like we said, is in like a certain little niche market. They have proprietary technology. They're bringing something to market that is, as they say, pristine, right? It's the closest to 100% pristine graphene that we can get. So it's much more valuable than just some random OTC stock. You know what I'm saying? So we could find just any OTC stock, and we might have just the perfect timing. And we could buy something at like 6 cents, and then all of a sudden it's at like 24 cents, right? So it is possible with any random OTC stock. But the one thing I will say is, again, something like LEU, or even, again, like UUUU, like some of these other companies are already established. And again, in my opinion, if an announcement is made in the uranium sector, then all of those stocks will probably see a bump. The OTC stocks would need something specific. That's why HGRAF started to gain momentum and have volume come into it. Not only was it breaking up the technicals, but we were constantly getting positive news updates, and we had an established timeline. So I mean, I mean, we could look at uranium OTCs. I just don't think it's worth the exposure on your end. And see, and this is what I talk about also when I say stay sharp, stay focused, stay disciplined, right? We had an OTC stock that did phenomenal. Now all of a sudden everyone's looking at OTC stocks. Everyone's asking me, what's the next OTC stock? We're talking about the entire nuclear sector, right? And the first question is there OTC nuclear stocks? And I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm not trying to beat you up, Suze. But you understand my point. You understand my point. Nuclear is tricky because it requires cohesion between administration, takes roughly 10 to 15 years to get a reactor up to production. It's a process. It's a process. And it's probably because mainly of like the risks involved and, right, a potential spill and everything like that. So the EPA, it's a process. But again, we know that this administration is pro-nuclear, so again, I don't know if I'd risk an OTC stock. I could try to do some research. We can see what we come up with. I'm realizing profits on some other trades I feel like taking the house money and just dumping more into HGRAF. Maybe I have an addiction. I don't know. Just very confident in this company. Again, it's your call. We speak about how you shouldn't be, overly invested into one situation. But again, everyone's financial situation is different. So saying something like that, if you're like 28 with a decent job and, maybe within like a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you'll be able to recoup like everything you had in HGRAF if it happens to shit the bed. If you're in a situation like that, then yeah, I mean, who cares? Go for it, right? You got to risk it to get the biscuit. And if you turn out right, it's, as we said, it's going to be game changing. But again, only if you really have that income, if you can handle that risk. Makes sense, established company. Yeah, come on, Suzanne, let's, like we always say, let's work smarter, not harder. We know what the play is in theory, right? But let's try to be sharp about it. Dow has been basically flat for about 30 minutes. So potentially just hanging out, waiting for 3 o'clock. However, markets, again, we opened up and it looks like we dropped and then like we were trying to come back. So we may see just a further drop at 3 as opposed to a rebound, right? Because technically, again, this is our trend line, right? And we just broke the trend line, so we may continue downward. But we'll see. We will see what happens. 10-year slightly green, up 0.1%. 20-year down 0.33%. Again, food has been holding. Even something like CPB has been holding up here in the low 30s, and Hershey as well ran all the way up into the 180s, the 190s, and you can see even today it's only down 0.33%. SECO, again, they brought it down on those, quote, tariff concerns or whatever BS they mentioned, and then they bounced it right back from like 89 back up to 94, 95. So SB holding, staying above that 4. Again, we looked at it yesterday, I believe. Got above that resistance trend line. Fubo started out nicely. We can see we had the pop right back up to the 4s, and then of course we had markets begin to sell off, but we saw those prelim numbers from Fubo, which were better than expected, so that stock is holding the 4 area pretty much. Silver, again, we spoke about that. Silver having a nice day today, up about 1%, 1.2%. Yeah, we have SMCI earnings today, so we may see a massive explosion. Again, if we pop clean up above these trend lines and back to our key level here that we were looking at the last couple of days, again, we're looking at potentially 106, 107. The question is, will they do it instantly, right? So after hours on a beat, you might see like a little pop like that. Hopefully you can get to that trend line. And then tomorrow, as word spreads, it could run up into this trend line, right, near 80. And then they can talk about how SMCI is up 30, 40% just in a day or two. And then we can pop clean up to the psych level of 100, right? And then maybe chill and then pop up and test that trend line again. So it may not happen instantaneously where SMCI moves 100% to, $100+, but it could happen sooner than people realize. But again, I always stood by my analysis. You guys know that. Was always bullish on SMCI. Initially, when I first mentioned it, it ran huge. It ran from like 300 and change to 1,200. As the word got out, volume came in, and then of course they got listed on the S&P. And then that's when the drama happened, right? What is it? It was like Tupac said, right? The best time is on the way up, because once you're at the top, that's when the bullshit starts. Fubo has been pretty frustrating. It's like it wants to run, but it just pulls back every time. You need to remain stoic. Yes, you need to remain stoic because we know what we know. And this is, again, Nick, tale as old as time, right? You'll have someone like you, right? Nothing against you, but you'll have an investor like yourself. They'll hear about Fubo. They'll look at Fubo. They'll take a position. They hang out for a couple of months. Nothing happens. They sell the position. Then it pops. They talk about how they had the position and how much they could have made and how they knew it was going to work. I don't know why I sold it, right? So again, people are really waiting on that big news for the merger to go through with Disney. I don't think it really matters quarter to quarter. HGRAF having $6 million in the bank really should provide a lot of comfort to investors. Yeah, they got some money. Hey, Deli, how's it going? Happy to have you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Trust me, I ain't selling. I doubled down. There we go. Go big or go home. That's what they say. If it was me, I'd go all in. But that's just me. I'm Mr. Vegas. Shout out to our buddy John Candy. Overall quiet day. Yeah. It's because I'm controlling myself. All right, you want some noise? I'll get excited. Just give me a minute, baby. Again, I was looking at B&G yesterday, pickle company out of New Jersey, which could be interesting, but again, it's a beaten up company, struggling at the moment, so speculative, trying to catch that bottom. And also was recently speaking about BlackBerry, right? Symbol BB, BlackBerry, and same thing, BlackBerry. Older tech, actually recently, the last couple of quarters, they came in above estimates. So we could see a potential recovery in BlackBerry. But again, that's speculative, probably going to take a little bit of time. Sorry if I missed, but any thoughts on Pfizer? I personally wouldn't buy, in my opinion. ExxonMobil, I personally wouldn't buy, in my opinion, either. Because, again, if we hopefully drill soon, or if Trump, settles any issues taking place overseas, all of these things, if we, invest into nuclear more and bring that online, all of these things, again, driving energy independence, which in my opinion should drop the price of oil, which in turn will drop the value of ExxonMobil stock. S-Bet, I'm drawing a blank. What is this? Gaming company. Oh my goodness. $1.9 billion. What? Why? Why? Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Why? Why though? Right? How do you bring up Pfizer, ExxonMobil, and then this? When you can buy... What is it, with an S or a Z? First of all, again, this is... Right? iGaming ETF, sports betting ETF. That's first of all. This is an ETF that is drastically outperforming that crackhead stock you just threw at us. And, I mean, you could buy Flutter, you could buy DraftKings, right? You could take advantage of that space without exposing yourself to drugs, So, come on now. Be safe. Be safe out there. Yeah, B&G, they brought new lows again. That's what I was saying. They could bring it down to like 370, 360. That's exactly what they did. And then they bounced it almost right back above $4 a share. So it bounced about 10% from the new lows it made. And that's what I was saying as well. Like, it's speculative. But again, in my opinion, I just think there's some value there. And I just think overall, looking at the situation, like 3 and change, 4 and change, you know, it could be a decent cost. Could be a decent cost for some of those shares. But again, speculative. Yeah, big dividend yield, yeah. They're paying out, what, like 75 cents a share, and the stock's at 4. So, yeah, it's yielding them 18, 19, 20%. They are an Ethereum holding company going the MicroStrategy route. Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Well, how much Ethereum do they hold? That's what we need to find out as well. That reverse split obviously didn't really sit too well with me. I don't know. No capital, free to jump into BGA. Yeah, it's okay. You're better off. SBET holds 360,000, valued at 1.3 billion. Wow, really? Jeez. Well, I guess that's why the market cap's up at 1.9 billion. 1 hour till SMCI earnings. Let's go, baby. The countdown is on. T-minus 54 minutes. Big SMCI news. Oh, man, I would just love... I mean, again, you know, they could play around with it, of course, we know. But I would just love for the company to come out, annihilate the top and bottom line, and the stock just pop like 40, 50% or something like that. Oh, man, that would be awesome. That would be, I know, of course, you guys would say that's awesome, too. But, I'm just talking, like, in general, like, referring to the whole overall story. If they can come out and just, boom, catapult, shoot straight up through the ceiling, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, I guess, SBET, I guess. But, again, also at the same time, I'm just very surprised at a lot of you people because, we're a lot of us are younger, newer wave investors, and the younger people usually take to crypto more than older investors. So, again, that just blows my mind because if you believe in crypto and you like this stock because they're holding Ethereum, like, why wouldn't you just buy Ethereum? And also, at the same time, we know that Bitcoin seems to be the front runner in the space, right? And we've spoken about, what was it? CleanSpark? Phenomenal winner on this channel. Right? We were crunching the numbers. I did a couple of videos, a couple of updates on CleanSpark, CLSK, Bitcoin mining stock. Yeah, what was it? It was like 4. Stock went to like 18 or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. And like their hash rates and their mining was like increasing, right? Yeah, that was like a mining company though. This is just a company that owns Ethereum. I mean, again, I don't know. In full disclosure, still to this day, I don't truly 100% comprehend how Bitcoin works. So, that's why, again, CleanSpark, the numbers were growing. It just seemed simple for me to understand. So something like CleanSpark was a good call. I had a little more confidence in it. SBET, again, reverse split. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But again, it all comes down to the overall vibe, as the kids say, in the crypto market. Is Ethereum, holding up? Is it going to continue to slowly climb like Bitcoin? If it is, then in theory, SBET should slowly climb, just like we saw Mara and MicroStrategy, right? We're seeing all these stocks climb with the crypto. So if you believe in the underlying crypto, then I guess you could buy the stock. But again, it's your call. It's your call. Me personally, maybe I would have like traded it a little bit more. Like if I saw like Bitcoin sell off, like maybe I would buy into something like a CleanSpark and catch a big bounce and just trade it. I don't know if I would buy and hold it. But again, we're all different. We're all different. So if you disagree and if you see value, if you think, like we said, Ethereum's going to hold up and it's just slowly going to keep growing, then it should technically take the stock with it. So if you like it, go for it. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. SMCI could happen. A lot of short sellers. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You got a lot of people, I feel like, betting big on both sides of this fence, right? So if we get a report that just completely annihilates estimates. You can see boom, boom, right? You can see that big whip. So, curious to see that. Market's slowly trying to climb up. Of course, I have a put on the Dow, so it's fighting to go green. Typical. B&G at 403. Yep, holding that 4. SMCI right now 57.60. Down about 1%. Not too bad. Again, I don't think they could really crater it because we have earnings coming up, right? So you got people buying in, trying to play the earnings. So SMCI will probably hold up this last 50 minutes or so. Got around 20 viewers, but there's only 12 likes on the stream. Please like the stream, thumbs up, like the stream. Thank you, thank you. Apparently that's all YouTube cares about. It's all about the likes. And honestly, I hate saying it too, because when I would watch videos and, you know, like the video starts, it's not even 10 seconds in, and it's like, oh, like the video, subscribe to the video. It's like, bro, I didn't even see it yet. What if I don't like it? That's why I always said it's like a nervous tick. That's why, like, I hate saying it, but I guess it is relevant, which is why they all say it, right? So, like the stream if you can, I appreciate it. Watching the Dow right now, fighting to go green as we finish up this last hour. Gold just holding and going, baby. I'm telling you, the metals, I'm telling you, they're going to keep going. Got to get the algorithm working. I'm telling you, that's what it all comes down to, apparently. Apparently, since nothing is run by humans anymore, right? And it's all algorithms, AI models, and whatnot, so whatever. AMD after hours too? What, today? AMD earnings? Oh, yeah. 47.9, estimate 741. Yeah, I'd give AMD the benefit of the doubt. Posted 744 last quarter. 766. High sixes into sevens. I'd give them the benefit of the doubt. And again, you might see the spike right back up here. 190s might go right back to the psych level of 200. But we know that earnings are a gamble. Please understand the risks involved. Intel looked good for entry. Intel, again, is another kind of like grandfather, old school tech. And we even had that rumor, again, of Qualcomm coming in. I think that was like back here. That instantly spiked it to like 27, 28. That's why I've been saying, you know, they whip it. And if you're an options trader, it's probably extremely frustrating if you're playing Intel. But if we're talking about shares, I have continued to say that, in my opinion, like, yeah, like right around here, like the low 20s, here in the high teens, I like it. I like it. I think there's value there. And again, even if it, as you see, even if it slowly has a bump, right, and you're able to make like 15, 18%, but now, you know, like no news is coming, so you think it's going to start selling off, you know, you can flip it, wait, try to re-enter maybe. But overall, in my opinion, kind of similar to like a BlackBerry play, but obviously Intel makes a lot more money. But I just think there's value there. I think there's value there. How about if we extend this trend line here for you? Bang. I'm too damn good. I'm so good. Oh my goodness, bro. Can we get some dubs in the chat for how freaking good I am at this shit? So we're back above a trend line, which means, in my opinion, we're going to meet up with the moving average. This trend line here, about 2140. Could flip that for 5%. Hey, KH, how you doing? Good on you. I'm down 15%, thinking DCA more. Yeah, again, it's, you know what, again, I think it's because technology is here, right? Because technology is here and there's still demand. It's like, even if they're like an older, less used company, it's like they're going to get tapped if there's this much growth and this much demand, you know what I'm saying? And someone's going to step in and be like, all right, listen, we're going to send you over some equipment and you're going to start helping us manufacture these things. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, in my opinion, I am, again, nothing is guaranteed. In my opinion, I would give it at least 95% conviction that there is value here. Can always split your holdings. Keep some in a port for flips and one for longs. Yeah, of course. Of course. You could always open multiple accounts too, right? You can have an account with each platform if you want. You can have like a Schwab account. That could be your long-term holdings. You could open a Fidelity account. You could do short-term holdings. Open whatever you kids want. I don't know. Robinhood, whatever you guys are using now. Boom. Use that for options trading. Whatever. Go nuts. Just keep an eye on everything, right? I mean, it's your money. You worked hard for it, right? Don't just open accounts and just willy-nilly, oh yeah, I'll buy some of this, I'll buy some of that. That's how you destroy an account. Dubs, big dubs in the chat. Too damn good. I'll tell you what. Yeah, ran up, right? Bang. Looks like we're, right, gonna potentially slowly kind of step down here going into the close, it looks like. Hey, shout out posting the doves in the chat. Hey, listen. Doves fly together. Right? That's it. That's what it all comes down to. We're flying, baby. Won't destroy your account if they listen to you. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, we've proven that. If I really had no idea what was going on, man, I would go back. I would really try to watch a lot of my videos. I would try to listen for like all the little tidbits of knowledge and any little advice that I give, and then yeah, I would look at a lot of the stocks we looked at, see what we said had some value, might not have some value, and then I would just position accordingly. PayPal looking like it's holding above that trend you looked at. PayPal, again, the fundamentals have been strong. And again, people will get bored with the stock. And then all of a sudden, it climbs. So yeah, we were looking at this trend line here. It looks like we're right at it. Basically. Technically, we're below it, but, you know, we hit it today. And what was this key level again? 65.73. And here we hit 66.57. So yeah, worst case, right, we came down where we could potentially channel up against the trend line, drop to this trend line. Sorry for the whistle. It shouldn't. I'm telling you, in my opinion, undervalued. The stock is easily worth 100 plus, in my opinion, right? And like I always say, whatever you do with that information is entirely your own prerogative. Spoke about the wedge. We have the gap down here from 152 or whatever. I was talking about it the whole way down in the 70s, in the 60s, and I remember even in the Discord, I was like, I can't believe PayPal's down at 55, 53, and then look, slowly climbs up almost back to 100, right? We ended up hitting, what did we hit here? 93.60, 93 and a quarter. Right? Coming out of the wedge, down. I don't know. In my opinion, in theory, off everything I know, in my opinion, this stock should be higher. How did you get to this point? Reading charts and whatnot, just something you became passionate about? I know you had your Series 7. Oh yeah, baby. I was over there for a couple of years. Series 7, Series 63 licensed financial advisor. Used to make 700 calls a day. First partner taught me nothing and had drug problem. He was never around. I still was able to open accounts and amass over $1 million in assets under management. Then he left, got a new partner. He was actually a decent guy. The problem was I just spent a couple of years there getting aggravated before I was able to link up with him. But under him, I was able to be a little bit more consistent with it. And we got up, I don't remember the exact figure, my apologies, but we got up to several million assets under management. And again, I told you guys it was 100% commission. So I wasn't earning a salary for like years. But with that second guy, I actually took home like a couple of checks here and there. But yeah, I was just always very passionate about it. I was always good with numbers. Yeah, and then I learned about the business. I studied for the 7. I understood stocks and the markets even more. It was strictly fundamentals really at that time, right? Because I just had the book knowledge from the Series 7. So, I was even looking, as I mentioned, like stocks like Nvidia back in the day, all the way back in whatever that was, like 2012 or something, at like $8 a share. I was telling everyone and their brother, you should buy Nvidia, you should buy Nvidia. Nobody listened, of course. $4 trillion market cap now. But the charts, the technicals actually came after, because once I left the firm, when I would do any analysis on my own, or if I wanted to try to do any trading, whether it was shares or options, you had to take the technicals into account as well. And then I just kind of decided you can't really just do fundamentals, and you can't only trust technicals, right? So then I just kind of developed my own recipe, and now I have now I just kind of have the perfect storm going. But again, as we always said, the only thing that separates you from me is time and experience. That's it. The fundamentals, TA for the win. Yeah, sometimes you look at fundamentals, you think you find something that's of, great value. You take a position, it doesn't work out. And same thing with technicals. Again, you talk to traders every day. You can talk to traders. And you'll hear a story. Oh, I saw a head and shoulders setting up. I've stepped in. I bought puts. All of a sudden, the freaking thing bounces. That 20% hit. I got stopped out. So, that's why I decided, let's just take a step back. Let's not always try to time, the weekly option. Let's try to look at, let's try to actually develop a game plan. Let's see what has a good chance of actually materializing into reality. And then we could just play it like that. We could just take it from there and position ourselves accordingly. Where to find someone sharp with the technicals, with the fundamentals. Again, this is what I did for a living. I passed one of the top 5 hardest tests in the country to be able to do this, to be able to solicit people over the phone. Again, I spoke to multimillionaires multiple times a day, every day for about 5 years. I know how people with money think. I know how people with little money think. I know how greedy people think. I know how skittish people think. Just remember, company also know their stock. They were able to control through the news as well. And I spoke about that as well multiple times in videos, about the headlines certain stocks get, the headlines others get, right? What you should try to pay attention to. When is it noise? When is it nonsense? That's why I say, again, not to be cocky, but if you really look at everything I brought to the table and my success rate and how transparent and how available I make myself to all of you, I think I am worth significantly more than what I have here at this moment. Hope best bet earnings are good. August 14th, and it runs to 25 or more. Hey, listen, like I said, agree to disagree. Again, I'm not a big crypto guy, but, if you believe in it, you took a position. As I always say, I hope everyone makes a couple of bucks. I hope it works out for you. I really do. I do. Ooh. Okay, I grabbed those Dow puts, and they're weekly out till Friday, but I don't know. What do you think? I mean, technically, I'm still up a couple of bucks. You guys think I should day trade it, or you think markets might be red again tomorrow or Thursday, and I can make more? I don't know. What do you think? Shorting is short-lived. Take and go? Yeah. Uh, yeah. See, the Dow started to claw back, so I don't have much in it, but yeah, it's literally only up a couple of bucks now. If I can catch like a break right down here, I may flip it and use one of the day trades. I don't like to burn the day trades because sometimes you really see something, and you want to like go heavy and flip it. But yeah, yeah. Like we say, securing profits, right? Got to secure profits. I'm just betting ExxonMobil, Pfizer do 25% within the next 12 months, factoring dividends. Again, very possible, right? I mean, they're big names, they're on the big board in the big indices, and if we, consistently climbing to new highs, of course, there's a very good chance we'll take those names with us. Again, ExxonMobil, you might have some time, right? Because as we said, nuclear takes time. Even if we want to start drilling, that might take a little bit of time. Pfizer, again, I'm very hesitant with biotechs and pharmaceuticals. I really am. Really am. I just have a feeling that RFK, Trump, they're going to come out. I think they're going to come and hit the pharma markets. Again, I saw the tweet, people making fun of Trump, like, oh, he's saying drug prices are down 800%, right? How can you drop something 800%? And I laugh because, first of all, right, like I understand, true point, but also at the same time, I believe he's talking about the markup, right? He's talking about the markup, and if we had a pill for $10 and they were charging $100, right? And he brought it down to like $20, right? He lowered it like 8 times what it was. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he was talking about. That's how I interpreted it anyway. But again, we saw the pullback with the insurance stocks. I just don't know. And that's why, again, something like EMBA is a little bit different, right? We're talking about a robotic arm you control with a Game Gear and you fix people's arteries and whatnot, right? That's not like a pill where the selling power, the selling point of the arm is going to be affected by something from the administration. You know what I mean? I don't know. That made sense to me. How can we look you up? You don't have to. I'm right here. Look me up where? I mean, if you want, you can plug my name into the FINRA website, but it might not show up because that was years ago. I don't know if it keeps me in the database. But yeah, I used to tell people that all the time. I mean, you talk to some random person on the phone who's worth millions, and they're like, oh, how can I trust you? How do I know that? And, that used to be one of the lines. If they took you serious, they would take a minute. They would go to finra.org, right, government website, and they would type in my name, and they would have seen that I am licensed, Series 7, Series 63. It would have shown when I got licensed. It would have shown all the states that I'm registered to do business in, right? So the person would have seen, okay, there's a real broker who's at a real firm, and, he could do business in whatever, Georgia, wherever the guy is, and sometimes they would trust you. Sometimes they would say, yeah, it doesn't matter, and hang up the phone. But yeah, I mean, again, if you want to look me up, you could look me up. I don't know. You could just message me in Discord or something like that if you want some of that information. What about MP Materials? Yeah, that was on the move again, but of course they got the news from the government, and then like from Apple or something. And, you know, it's a little bit more of a longer term play, but that's why I was always pretty bullish on LAC, right? Because we need these domestic materials. But again, MP just popped, right? I mean, it just popped. Look, you know, it's up 68, 12 billion. They're bringing in 60 million and taking losses, right? And I know Apple made the investment, the government made the investment, but now we're up to 12 billion for kind of a crap stock. So I don't know. I just think there's better plays out there. Again, SEC. I like SECO, Copper Company. Could look into that. Tell me what you think. Southern Copper. Again, we spoke about LPX, right? Again, I know we're going a little bit off because you're talking about metals. I'm talking about more of a material, but with the lumber. But yeah, I don't know. I just think there's better plays. MP, unfortunately, like you missed it. You know, you missed it. And in my opinion, I do think it's pretty high. Does that mean it's going to come down? Of course not. But I don't know. I personally wouldn't be chasing. MP's all about rare earth metal trade with China. There you go. There you go. See, so who knows? You might. All it takes is one headline to completely fuck that up, right? So I don't know. I don't know. How do we get in Discord? You click on this link that I will provide you in a moment. The message will self-destruct in 60 minutes. What about USAR? I'm banging a USAR. USA Rare Earth. Oh, what's this? SPAC. Oh, no wonder. No wonder they like it. Initiated at overweight 16. We're at 14. Joint development agreement for supply of neo-magnets for drone technology. Okay. Is it strictly drone, or did they get an order from the drone, you know, for the drone sector? 3 billion. A lot of people joining the community through these live streams. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'll jump on. Whatever, you know, we'll do an hour or two a day. I don't care. Okay, we got pre-revenue, about 1 billion. Yeah. I mean, again, you know, we have a SPAC, so we see it got, you know, repopularized after it got beaten up and brought right back up to that level. And that technically is a good piece of news. Yeah, that's your trend line. I'm a smooth operator. Up, and we hit, of course, exactly $20 a share, as a stock does, right? Is that our line? That's not our line. That's our line. That's all line. All right, so we have tightening taking place. Yeah, no, I'm not in IT. And again, at this point, after all the years, all the market experience, the community I built, my proven success rate, I honestly, not to sound like a cocky schmuck, but these places probably wouldn't be able to afford me, and the low balls would be insulting. 17 Concord, 15 Roth, secure 75 million of equity capital. ordered tariff probe on critical minerals imports, right? Yeah, so it bumped on that, what was it, right? The China news, I think. But, like, it shouldn't have, right? Because it's not doing anything yet. Good old Rob Steele. Sounds like a porn actor. Reading. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's just me. With energy getting so small of a percent of SPY, do you think utilities or at least nuclear will join XLE to make it bigger, similar how XLC was made because tech got too big? That's a good question. It's a good question. Nuclear, I mean, nuclear, in my opinion, should, right, be in XLE. That would make sense, kind of. Utilities, it's a good point. Good point. Don't they have a utility? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Man, if China decided to fuck over those rare earth metal, and we technically, yeah. Well, that's why, again, we were talking about stocks like LAC, where we got, again, 2.2 billion whatever loan from the DOE, so that we can kind of begin accelerating our domestic lithium supply. Yeah, I know. It talks about the semiconductors as well. Like we said though, this is what we spoke about when we first got news that Trump won, and he was going to come in, and what his plan was. Right? I mentioned, in my opinion, that it was going to get rocky before it got better. So we know that. Got to run. Thanks for the stream. Look forward to the next one. Thanks, Deli. See you later, brother. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the support. Yeah, again, a stock like this, you're just waiting for a big announcement, but I mean, at SPAC level, you can make the argument it was even overvalued. Now you're up 40% from there. You have this tightening. I don't know. Apex, it's looking like about a month from now, if it waits, right? If it waits till the Apex to pop up or down, that'll be about a month from now. So if you want to just kind of watch this, keep an eye on news, and then just try to play the potential break. In my opinion, that's how I do it. I see earnings next week. Yeah, if you can, maybe in like a week or two, just like re-mention it, and we can come back and we could see if we got any news or how it looks in the technicals. Puts and calls. Again, I'd wait. Because there's nothing technically besides in theory being overvalued on paper, there's nothing that I see that can really pop it or drop it. So your puts and your calls may just get burned. Might just get eaten alive. Shout out to Mr. Humble joining us in the Discord. Thank you for joining and speaking also, because you would have gotten kicked. As we said, I make the rules in my Discord. I don't care. Oh, it's confusing. I'm 53 years old. I never used it before. I'm sure you can figure it out. And all I need you to do is just say hello and interact if you join, so that we know you are not some sort of AI, iRobot sent from Skynet to take over the community and the world. Right? We don't know that. I have a feeling they're going to pop this sumbitch. We got about 20 minutes left. We got big tech earnings on deck. If you're just joining us, again, we got SMCI, we got AMD numbers coming out. So a lot of people kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. Let me check some prices for some of these stocks. AMD this Friday, and that trend line was what? 195. How much is a 195 call? So AMD at 175 and a half, a 195 call this Friday is about $175 right now. So I believe they seem pretty bullish. How about if I go 20 points the other way on the put side? It is $100 less. It is only $74, which kinda sorta means they're pretty bullish on it. How about if I go like 200? That's still over $100. Wow. But again, the stock was what, 240 or whatever, and we've beaten it up. I remember when AMD dropped back into the 80s and the 70s, and people were flipping out. Oh, I'm down. Where? Now it's up 100 points from that level. Right? Now we're up 100 points from that bottom. As they say, you snooze, you lose, right? How do the SMCI calls look? SMCI calls seem to be cheaper. Oh, yeah, there it is. 50 for 40. Yeah, I'll go with that. We can do that. Let me try to see. I might be able to get that for cheap. Cheapy cheap. Cheapy cheap. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, jeez. Oh. That'll wake you up. Check the email. Ooh, I'm so popular. We staying on until SMCI? Yeah, I'll stay on. Yeah. We'll go till like 4:30 or whatever. We'll see how the numbers look. We could look at that together. We'll see SMCI. Again, we got AMD reporting as well. So yeah, we'll see how a couple of these names report. I'm singing in the rain. The rain. Yep. All right, it is definitely coffee o'clock, so talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back. Just put the coffee down on the leg of the microphone and spilled it all over the desk. Yeah, I had a feeling we'd stay ready and going into our close. Well, we got 16 likes on the stream. Taking over. We are taking over. Yeah, in my opinion, if you're looking for earnings, I'd say AMD, SMCI calls. I think it's something like OT. Yield Max Ultra Option Income ETF. Yeah. See, the problem with these is they're playing 15 to 30 securities. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because you know what it is, Ricky Ricardo? What it comes down to is, see, your dividends come in, and on the income side, it seems like, it's something you can't pass up on. But the underlying principal investment is taking a hit. You know what I mean? So like the income that you're dripping may only slightly outpace the depreciation of your principal. So that's why, like here, in my eyes, it looks like there's more volume leaving than entering. So no, me personally, I would not buy that. But I understand diversification. It's like an income play. Like, I get it. I get it. That's just my opinion on it. But yeah, if it were me, probably better off finding a stock with decent fundamentals, that's kind of beaten up a little bit, that you can scoop at fair or undervalue, that pays you a dividend to own it. You're probably better off just going that route. Yeah, no problem. And again, someone might have a different opinion when you ask them about those some of those option ETFs and whatnot, but I don't know. There was I remember someone used to mention the covered call ETF that kind of seemed to be consistently climbing because there's just more and more calls hitting the market now. So something like that might be a little bit of a better, more stable route for you. I'm sorry, I don't recall the symbol. was just a covered call ETF. I don't know. Let me see. I believe it was this. But see, even this, see what I mean? There's a NASDAQ 100 covered call ETF. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, you know, I know there's good positions like this. Yeah, see, this is holding 17 up to 18, back down to 7, 16, 16, 16. That's what I mean. Like, you know, like it changes from month to month. Like, I don't know. It's really your call. I mean, again, technically, in theory, should you have a position like that, so you're not just exposed to individual equities? Yes, in theory, you should. Yes, but I don't know. My opinion, not too impressive. Better off just buying one of the random small caps. You know what I mean? So, something like SB. If that can go from 4 to 5 and pay you a dividend while you own it, I mean, you know, it's going to translate to a better return probably. I don't know. I don't know. Your call. Yeah, anytime, brother. Don't worry about it. Again, as we said, you know, I know what I'm talking about, but also at the same time, I could also happen to be wrong occasionally. I may talk about, like we said, you know, I don't like this ETF, and then, you know, you find someone else who explains why, you know, it might be more advantageous to have the ETF, and, you know, over a 12-month period, you could potentially outpace, you know, holding this stock, even if it goes up. You know, I mean, you'd really have to crunch the numbers, but I don't know. It really seems like our domestic stocks here in the States are pretty hot right now. So, unless there is a big market pullback, I mean, you know, even just blindly buying something like Coca-Cola might give you a better annualized return. I don't know. Oh, see, and I was talking to you, and I did not secure my profit. See that? I put you before me. I want you to remember that. Always remember me. All right, so we are watching some tech names here reporting after the bell. We got SMCI, and we have AMD that we're going to be watching here. Let me see if I can pull up the calendar. Of course, it's not loading. SMCI, all up in my eye. Alright, this is today's date, right? Looking after the close. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got an AMD, SMCI, we got Open. I know people were pumped about Open. It was trending on social media. Net. Oh, Snap. Snap. I forgot about Snap. Oh, I think I remember saying too, this stock like down at like 9, 10 might be a decent buy. We can see we dropped down to about 9 recently. Yeah, I was looking for a climb back to this key level, and you see how they broke it first and then climbed it right to the freaking line. That's what I mean. That's why I literally say all the time, they do it to burn out the traders. I'm telling you. That's funny. What else we got? Upstart, Toast, Rivian, LEU reporting earnings. Aflac, oh man. Skyworks. Alright, we got a couple of names. We got a couple of names coming out. Oh, that's funny. 2 Chinese nationals in California accused of illegally shipping NVIDIA AI chips to China. It's funny, didn't they randomly throw out a BS story like that relating to SMCI? Right? Do you recall that? Somehow China had got some chips and they were like, oh, did SMCI send them to them? People make me laugh, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Alright, we're waiting. AMD. Hanging out. SMCI all up in my Yep. 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 Looks like you might have some people just liquidating the position because they just don't know what's coming, which is, I guess, understandable. Yep. Have me a little smoke. Oh. 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 Wow, totally not cool. This is totally not cool. SMCI dropping in real time. 6.5%, 9%. Oh, baby. 10.5%. Just remember, stocks like Palantir could keep going high. SMCI has to drop, though. Makes me laugh. Let's go. Let me see a massive recovery here. Show me something, baby. I'm assuming numbers came in light, or they mentioned tariffs. Let's see if AMD is moving. AMD flat right now. SMCI currently down 12%. 41 cents. They were expecting 44.5 cents. Uh, Sales are 5.757 billion. Missed by 2%. It's an 8.5% increase from same period last year. But like I said, it's technically a miss, I guess, but the growth is there. We have the alarms going. Just remember, in my opinion, keep your eye on the prize. I'm still focusing on the long-term growth. And again, we mentioned how somehow NVIDIA estimates are somehow 10-20% below real numbers all the time, but somehow SMCI numbers, right, came in just below these estimates. My opinion, I still like it. I stand by my analysis. Let's check which trend line this is. Yeah, this trend line would be, yeah, maybe near around 49.5, kinda. 40, 49. That's what I mean. Did they technically miss? Yeah. Growth is there. See how AMD's doing? AMD seeing a little bit of a bump. Very good, very good. Da-dee-da-dee-da. Oh, they missed the estimate. Oh no. Da-dee-da-dee-da. If you're just joining us, SMCI is down. Missed revenue and EPS miraculously. Miraculously. EPS technically down slightly year over year. Revenue up year over year. And I may be crazy. I think we see a recovery though. Yeah. AMD chilling. All in good time. All in good time. What do I think about qubits? Yeah, we spoke about it in the past. I don't know. I'd have to recheck revenue. I think we said Ion Q might be one of the front runners, but yeah, probably qubits or Ion Q, I guess, in that space. Got it down big for EPS. Just remember, everything was fine until they started messing with it. I still stand by my analysis. Snap down 16%. Yeah, Snap's usually a big swinger. I didn't I looked at the earnings late. That's my opinion. We could have looked at a couple of names and spoke about some plays. Where's AMD? 415? Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Rivian down 4%. Thank you, Tom, for the updates. Yeah, I know people were talking about A-Lab in the Discord. A-Lab up about 8.5% here. 32 cents, 172.44 versus. Very nice. Now they just got a big price target raise too from Stifle yesterday. Oh, blow it out, cherries. A-Lab up roughly 8.5% currently. Yeah, let's check on Snap. Snap back down to 8 even, down almost 15%. Revenue 1344 versus 1347. Daily active users up 9%. Snap records slowest revenue growth in over a year. I mean, they were accelerating faster the last couple of quarters, but they're up to 134 from 124. I mean, not that bad. Stock honestly might be a buy down here at 8. We could look at it. Appreciate the live updates. Thanks for all you do. You're very welcome, LT. Thank you very much. LT, shout out, number 56. Man who changed the game. So happy I took profits on AMD and SMCI. You never go broke by taking profits. This is true. This is true. Oh, AMD 54 cents. Estimates about 48. Gross margin 40%. Brought in 870 mil. Adjusted EPS 48 cents. Still slightly above estimates. AMD seeing a little bit of a bump here after hours. Should be higher in my opinion. AMD misses. It looked like a beat. Looked like a beat. What's the revenue? I'm not seeing the revenue. Oh, revenue 7685. 7685. I'm seeing AMD a beat on the top and bottom line. Okay, Tom. It's okay. No one's going to beat you up if you left it there. It's okay. So AMD with a pretty nice quarter as expected. SMCI apparently coming in a little light, dropping the stock down about 12.5%. Looking to approach this trend line here roughly at around 49. Stock sitting at 50 right now. Tried to find some footing. So we'll see how low it goes. I'm assuming there's some sort of conference call. Maybe that can bounce a little bit. I still stand by my analysis. Again, the company's bringing in, high 6 billion a quarter. That's, 22, 24 billion for the year. We got a market cap of 34 billion. That was before the drop. So now we're down to 30 billion, right? So again, this is why I say, we could seesaw from earnings to earnings, from quarter to quarter. But in my opinion, the long-term growth, I still stand by my analysis. Standing by the analysis. Check back on AMD, having some ups and downs. Oh, baby. I just bashed my leg into the desk. AMD up about 1% after earnings right now. Just hanging out. Curious to see what happens here with SMCI. Where was this bottom? 49.56. So we'll see if we make a lower low or if we potentially double bottom and have a little bounce. Right, yeah, I was going to say, we might just drop it right to the trend line. Oof, I'll come back to that in a second. Let's recap HGRAF. This stock, I'm telling you, this stock wants to hold the dollar. I do believe the word is out. Right, we're still basically, we're kind of right there at the trend line. Oh, actually, let me see how MBOT closed. MBOT closed up nicely. Yep. See, jumped up right above that trend line. Potentially going back up to about 3+, meeting up with that trend line, meeting up with that fib. See, with the little seesaw action here, right? So what time is this? 3:59. So we're like from here, this is kind of our support. Whoop. This is kind of our support right now. So we can whiplash, but we can continue to step up. Got to see if it wants to break that support. I'm really seeing a potential breakout for HGRAF this week after some tightening. Telling you, Nick. Telling you. Too damn good. AMD forecasts third quarter revenue above estimates. And remember when it was like 120, 110, and they were beating it up, right? What'd I say? I said, watch what happens. Hey, Southern Sky, how's it going, brother? Happy to have you. Happy to have you. SMCI down 16%. Bro. Bro. We are well below trend line. Wow. Hey, we picked the winners, baby. We picked the winners. Except for SMCI, of course. Cheers to another 3 months of bag holding. There you go. Happy to have you. We are happy to have you. You know who appreciates it? SMCI. SMCI appreciates it. Got an earnings call. We'll pump this up. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Nick, I'll be honest. I still like it. I mean, I really do. I still like it. It might just be my opinion. I know other people out there, you know, they might look at earnings and say, hey, listen, it's mixed. You know, I don't know if I really trust it. And I can appreciate that viewpoint. But in my opinion, I just think the stock is worth more. I think the stock is worth more. I liked it up here. Of course, I like it even more, 10 points lower. Let it drop another 10 bucks and I'll buy some. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have to sneeze. Woof. That's a good one. No China in guidance, they say. Meaning what? They're guiding above estimates without China? I don't understand. Expectations are just sky high for AI. Yes, well, we spoke about this before. It's just miraculous how SMCI will slightly miss earnings. And obviously a lot of these other names, you know, no problem. They beat. It's a layup. The estimates were low. It was easy. No problem. Right? SMCI's got to pull an Andy Dufresne over here. Trying to keep him down. I love when people post, people ask me to make 19 different channels in the Discord, and then I love when people post earnings news in the main channel. Fear that they won't be able to sell to China. Ah, sellers came after that. Ah, I understand. But again, we spoke about the strength and the necessity and the importance overall of our domestic businesses, especially tech, metals, materials, right? We know this. We know this. That's why we saw such a big rebound in AMD, right? So, again, you know, could they bring it back down to the trend line, meet up with the moving average, break it back down here, you know, 149, 142? Of course, right? We go up, we go down, we go back up. So, AMD, I still like it. And, you know, if all this is because, again, China concerns, China's a huge market, right? And that's what I mean. Trump and, who's it, Xi Jinping over there, you know, they're playing chess right now. They're playing chess right now. And it sucks in the moment, but it'll probably, in my opinion, be fine over the long term. So right now, quote, they might not be able to sell to China, right? Fast forward a couple of months, probably going to turn out to be a nothing burger. My opinion, I still like it. Yeah, you're right. Good update, though. Thank you, Tom. Good call there. Big red sellers coming out. Broke right through support on that China news, as Tom said. AMD now down roughly 3.7%. Again, decent report. Hearing concerns potentially about trade with China being capped. SMCI trying to hold, backs away from a lofty goal, and its stock is sinking. I mean, some of these companies, you know, are like slowly leaving out information, right? Who is it? Doesn't like Netflix like not even disclose subscribers or anything or anymore, you know, something like that. So again, you know, we can beat them up because they may have flown too high, too close to the sun, if you will. But I mean, I give them credit. You know, they looked at the demand, they looked at the growth of the AI sector, they looked at how much of that business and data centers coming online they're going to have a hand in, and they swung for the fences, right? And they initially said what, like 28, 30 billion or whatever. So you know, I mean, I give them some credit. You know, everyone else is very afraid to say numbers because they don't want their stock to drop, and SMCI is like, you know what, we might see freaking double revenue. So that's our guidance right now. So I do give them a little credit. I respect that. I respect that a little bit. Google doesn't say YouTube revenue. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? A lot of these companies, they now like leave out certain segments, or again, like a lot of these app stocks now, like they don't tell you how many subscribers, or they'll leave out like, you know, the average revenue per user randomly. Like, that's what I mean. People are out here omitting information. SMCI swung for the fences, right? And said, no, we're doubling revenue. So that's what I mean. That's why I say here in the moment it sucks. But that's why I say again, if you take a step back, you look at the big picture, this stock is tremendously undervalued. Even if they come up shy of their initial projections. Again, people, in my opinion, are missing the point. Supermicro Q4 results miss, but fiscal year sales guidance beats. Right? I don't know about you, but I'd rather miss some bullshit analyst expectations today, but beat expectations for the full year. That's just me. So that's why I say again, SMCI, I really don't think they even keep it down for too long. Nvidia dropping? Why is Nvidia dropping? Nvidia dropping on SMCI? God, they would, but more stock. It's good. Do not and should not have kill switches and backdoors. Huh. Probably because of China news, AMD earnings. Yep, yep. Okay, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, everything's dropping now on this China news. Circle selling off. Okay, so now we're going to start to see a big tech sell-off now across the board. China news apparently is that we simply may not allow these companies to sell to China, which is currently the issue that we are dealing with in the moment, apparently. It's always some bullshit, I'll tell you. It's always some bullshit. Makes me laugh. AMD said they weren't guiding for any China sales due to uncertainties. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, that was smart of them. Again, like we said, when we initially heard about these tariffs and all this nonsense coming to light, right? It was going to get worse before it got better. And this is why we talk about picking our spots, right? Trying to buy companies at good prices so that even if we run up a little bit but then pull back, we can kind of hold that level, right? And we're okay. Also, at the same time, even though we want to hold stocks and have everything fly to the moon, we do know that, as Vin keeps saying right there, tariffs keep changing, news headlines keep changing, right? All of a sudden, we're beefing up tariffs huge for China, then we pull back, now we're not allowing anyone to sell to China, like, so, unfortunately, you really have to take this stuff day by day. Trump mentioned tariffs on semiconductors this morning, yeah, yep, and that's why I think we're just slowly going to start hammering and chipping away at each sector now. I do still believe personally that our domestic tech companies are going to be fine, but we did just have a big run up, right? They all pretty much rebounded. All indices hit highs, right? And this is what I mean. This is why I say, whether it's an announcement with the banks or now we're hearing China tariff news, it's always going to be something random that comes out of left field that throws a wrench into the machine that causes a drop, right? And this is why we speak about not being tied into something like a Palantir at a crazy high price, right? Because if we do really pull back, you may hold that for 6 months, 12 months before it gets back to where it was. But we can see now Circle down about 1% here on this China news. AMD was down about 5%, trying to come back a little bit here, came right back down to this line roughly of about 165. So we'll see if it wants to hold. Not seeing much of a metal reaction. But that China news came out, what, like 20 minutes ago? You can see the dollar is actually slowly ticking up. Trump also said he's going to greatly raise India tariffs in the next 24 hours. Pull back for S&P. Yeah, I mean, this could be the second wave again if we're talking about tariffs on these guys, tariffs on those guys. We're beefing these up, you know, oh, I spoke to this guy, he was kind of a schmuck, so I'm raising tariffs. Right, if we're going to get back into that, then yeah, we may see some red markets here, maybe for the remainder of the week. And again, it's funny the way it worked, right? Think back the last couple of days, as we said. Markets dropped a chunk on Friday, rebounded essentially that amount on Monday, yesterday, slightly down today, boom. Now all of a sudden, China news, tariffs, the shit's going to hit the fan, right? It's amazing the way it happens. And again, even if you may have, 1, 2, 3 positions that are now down or back to break even, I understand it's frustrating, but this is why we always say as well, you always got to keep some cash on hand, right? And again, I know options trading is risky, but if you had some cash on hand, if we start selling off now across the board for the rest of the week, you can step in, maybe buy like some QQQ puts or something, right? You can make yourself a couple of bucks on the downtrend, on the volatility, while you're hanging out waiting for your positions to rebound. So, again, this is why we utilize the rules that we use. I am expecting a recovery, always an overreaction. Yeah, it turns out, usually, most of the time, that is how it happens, right? A-Lab still holding up nicely. Why? They don't sell to China. A-Lab hanging out. Yep. It was a really good beat. I mean, that's a really nice beat. Companies are worth $22 billion though, unless I'm missing something. Technically new all-time highs, right? 147, yeah. Technically, we're at new all-time highs for A-Lab. A-L-A-B. Again, it's been good, but man, if these markets really start to sell off and these stocks correct, that's what I mean. Good quarter, right? Good quarter. But this is what, 700-800 million for the year. 22 billion. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a point where we have to start being realistic. But, you know, listen, if it's an up and comer, I know I see it's a newer listed stock. You know, if they've been reporting nothing but beats, which it looks like, then again, they're on the up and up. I wish everyone the best of luck. AMD still down 4% in change on this tariff news. What time is it? 4:30? Yeah, I might end the stream in a minute or two. We need to finally be realistic with some of these overvalued companies. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's what I mean. Like, there are certain companies, you know, like an AMD or an Amazon or something, you can make the argument, all right, we're kind of at fair value. That A-Lab, though, I mean, come on, listen, you know, good beat, again, they're on the right track. I'm not disagreeing with that. But, I mean, 22 billion, and that was at close, right? Now it's up another 10%, so it's $25 billion market cap now? I mean, it's just laughable. It's just but remember, SMCI is down huge and only trading, what, like 1.2 times yearly revenue, right? Think about that. That's what makes me laugh. That's what makes me laugh. And like we said, did they technically miss earnings? You want to drop them? Okay, I kind of understand, but also at the same time, like we read, they hit the fiscal year mark, you know? So that's what I mean. Like, you can only beat up a company so much. You know, like, oh yeah, you gave us bad news today, but technically over the last 12 months, you actually did better than expected. Like, you know what I'm saying? So how low are you really going to take that stock? How much can you really beat it up? And just like a couple of people in the chat were saying, like, you know, whether it's tariff news with China, or it's an overreaction here with a slight miss, like, it may just be short-lived. So something like SMCI, you know, they might quiet it down. They'll probably take it out of the spotlight maybe for a week or so people forget about it. And then before you know it, they'll probably slowly rebound it and bring it right back up to where it was before they posted earnings. Algorithmic selling in aftermarket. Yep. We got a lot of the electronic trading taking place. The algorithms are controlling the markets. And we know that once we break above or below psychological levels, if we form certain patterns, if we break support trend lines, that's what triggers all the algo trading. So that's how we slowly begin a snowball effect, potentially. SMCI. Yeah, very curious. Like, it really should be like here. Again, you know, if they wanted to drop it, what is this, like 10-12%? Understandable. 16% is a little extreme. I think we're being a little extreme. It fell last time during earnings and then recovered. And yeah, that's what I mean. That's what, you know why? Again, as I said, it are domestic companies, right? Any way you slice and dice it. We have the growth here. We have the investments coming in, not only from our companies, but also from overseas companies, right, who are bringing manufacturing into the States here. We have the demand. We have the growth. And that's why, again, something like SMCI, just like, again, like Vin's saying, you know, we go down and we'll probably come back up. Again, even last earnings, same thing, right? We dropped. That's what I mean. We hung out for a little bit, and then boom, we were on the rise, and we're up, and we're up. So that's what I mean. Now today, you know, we raised concerns. Oh, tariffs, China, right? And what's today? Tuesday. So you may turn around Thursday, Friday, and all of a sudden this isn't an issue anymore, right? And now everything's a buy again. You know what I mean? So it's rough, but you have to take it day by day. But I mean, this is obviously not the result that I wanted to see, but I think I'm going to end the stream soon. We've been going for over 2 hours, which is good. Just hanging out. Again, something like AMD was storming back, right? And if we're having a pullback because of potential China concerns, and I mean, what they're saying the stock missed by 1 cent on their numbers. I mean, that is not an issue in my opinion. That is not an issue, right? For me, anyway. Honestly, guys, Trump presidency times are the fun stuff. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, a lot of volatility, unpredictable. Yeah, yeah, we can capitalize if we position ourselves correctly, but of course, it's rough, right? Because while we're trying to play fundamentals and technicals, we're getting news updates and headlines again that throw us a curveball. So this is why, again, you may position yourself somewhere and then take a hit on news, but if you have cash on hand, as Southern said, we're volatile. So if you have cash on hand, right, you scoop a big dip, you catch a rebound, you grab an overreaction, you catch the sell-off. So you can make big money off the volatility, as chat said. But again, that's why it's important, as we said, you always keep cash on hand, right? You're not, think about younger people who saw the growth in tech recently, right? And their whole portfolio is tech. I mean, your entire account just took a massive hit, and who knows how quickly it's going to recover, right? Think about that. So that's why as well, does tech grow the most? Could you make the most money? Yeah, I get it. I get the appeal. But also at the same time, all it takes is, one or two announcements, 1 or 2 earnings misses, and that's it. All of a sudden, your entire portfolio is on the pullback, and you're sitting there, without a paddle. Thanks for the stream, great as usual. You're welcome, Ricardo. You're welcome. A-net up 9%. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, all tech is growing. All tech has demand. And again, it really doesn't matter if we're talking about grandfather, old school technology, cybersecurity companies, data center companies, right? Computer cooling companies. Like, it doesn't matter. The demand is there, the growth is there, and again, I say, in my opinion, it's like they're all going to have to play a part if we really do have this type of projected growth and demand in AI that we're expecting over the next couple of years, right? They're all going to have to do their part, pull their weight. When things are normal, only the hedges benefit. Sometimes markets call for smooth brain actions. I bought a lot of SMCI and Ampex during the April crash. Both are up since then. Yeah, that's what I mean. Slow and steady wins the race. And as we said, unless we get an update or a big headline from the company or Trump that specifically hinders one of those stocks' growth, then that's when you may have to reevaluate. But right now, not really an issue, right? In my opinion. Disney reports in the AM, maybe Fubo news. Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. I know people were speculating like right around now, maybe like in the first week of September, we may be getting news. So they may speak about it. We do know that Fubo isn't really speaking about it. They're waiting for Disney. Long term, in the next few years, AI is a slam dunk. It's the future. Yeah, that's what they've been saying. Again, we're seeing the growth and demand come into some stocks already. And I do think that even over the next 2, 3, 5 years, I do think it snowballs uphill, if you will. And that's why I think, again, could something like SMCI be rocky? If you buy right now, will it never go below 49? Like, we know, like, it has a very good chance to, right? We know we have to be ready for anything. But I do think over the years, like, this is going to be a drop in the bucket. And everyone's going to say, we were talking about the demand in tech, and we were talking about the growth and the demand in AI, and I should have just bought all these stocks and tucked them away, right? That there's a very good chance that that's going to be everyone's story in a couple of years. So that's why, again, did they miss earnings today? Yeah. But apparently they hit that fiscal year number, and I'm still stepping back and looking at the big picture. I'm not looking at this from quarter to quarter. But SMCI still down, 49, right at trend line. AMD, again, comes down to trend line about 165. A little bit of a bounce here, 168 roughly, down 3.6%. Again, potential China concerns with trade. So we're seeing pullbacks here across the board, really, on tech. LEU up 10%. Yeah, they reported. I thought it said 5 o'clock. Oh, my goodness. Revenue, 154 million. EPS, almost double what was expected. Revenue comes in roughly 25 million above this 130.6 million estimate. LEU with yet another good report, good earnings beat. Again, initially brought to you on this channel, back here in the tightening of the triangle at sub $40 a share. Stock now up 17 points after hours, up another 8%, hitting 231, ran up to 250. And in my opinion, I think we go here and continue to hit highs. LEU continuing to perform well for us, since we mentioned it again, up several 100% since the first video here on this channel. Appreciate that update, Neo Quant. But as I said, we've been here for a couple of hours. I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm going to end the stream here. Again, short term, SMCI, AMD, some crappy reactions. But overall, big picture, long term, I think we'll be fine. But I'll end it there. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Again, we got almost 20 likes on the stream, so I appreciate that. All of you hitting the like button, smashing the like button, drop kicking the like button. That helps out the algorithm, of course. And yeah, I'll talk to you in Discord, and have a good day. All right, bye.